5. Live on Indian Weekender Facebook and YouTube channel.
Kia ora everyone, welcome to Weekender at 5, where we bring you the most relevant news of the day. My name is Preeti Garude and I'm your host for today. For the next 20 minutes, I'll take you through the news that most affects our community, and then we'll have an interview with an expert on issues that matter the most to Indians. So let's begin. In the first news of the day, Wellington Diwali Festival, which was scheduled for Labour Weekend this year, has now transitioned to an online event due to COVID concerns. Event producer Murli Kumar, founder of Communities Action Trust New Zealand, expressed his disappointment to an online event due to COVID concerns, but he believed that it was the best decision given the uncertainty. He said that the team is working hard to keep the spirit of the festival alive by creating an online celebration showcasing some of the best from the Indian community. The Auckland Diwali Festival was also cancelled in an announcement earlier this week. In another news, more than 200,000 members of the Indian community across New Zealand have been vaccinated so far, as per the latest data by the Ministry of Health. Investigations led by Indian Weekender journalist Navdeep Kaur Marwa reveals that more than 95% of eligible Indian population have got their first vaccine dose, and while more than 55% are fully vaccinated. As of September 2021, 91% of the Indian community in the age group of 65 and above have had their first dose. 83% have had both. In the age group of 35 and 49 years, 98% of Indians have got their first jab and 60% have got both. You can read Navdeep's full story on indianweekender.co.nz. Now, let's move to the main segment of the show. Reserve Bank yesterday lifted the official cash rate, or OCR, to 0.5%. As inflation pressures have continued to build, this move was widely expected by many economists. We're going to talk a little bit about OCR and what effect this has on people's borrowing capacity going forward. OCR is an interest rate set by Reserve Bank of New Zealand, which defines the wholesale price of borrowed money. This means it directly affects the commercial banks, determining the rates that they will offer to their customers. In turn, this affects the rates banks charge by borrowing money, that is, through your mortgages, your loans, credit cards, and what they will pay customers for savings, that is, on term deposits, savings, and accounts. Today, we're going to have a chat about this increase in OCR and its effect on the housing market. We've invited Prateek Malhotra from Loan Market to help us understand more on this topic and present a real picture. Prateek, welcome to Weekender at 5.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Now, Prateek, we have spoken extensively about this, and I feel like this is a topic that a lot of Indians and Kiwi Indians within the migrant community would be interested in as well. So let's talk about this in total layman's terms. What is OCR and how is this going to affect people, say like me or others who may be listening into Indian Weekender right now?
I think, as you said in your segment, it is the rate which is charged by the bank, by the Reserve Bank, to the banks. So, in layman's term, as the OCR goes up or down, it does affect the mortgage rates, especially the floating rates. When the OCR tends to go up, it puts the floating rate up. It goes down, it puts the floating rates down. But in general, it also affects the savings rate as well. So at the moment, when the OCR has gone up, it will potentially give more to the savers, who have been affected in the past with the rates being so low. On the other hand, with OCR going up, we've already seen the floating rates that have been put up by the likes of ANZ and Westpac as well. The fixed rates in general, they've already increased in anticipation of this OCR increase. If you look at in the last two months or so, rates have gone up from the early 2s to almost early 3s now, and we're looking at almost mid 3s in some cases. So OCR is very important in general to the lending market. And we will see more of these in the next, say, 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm. And so how is this increased rate going to affect the existing homeowners and those who want to be like the first home buyers?
I think there's a general tendency that when the rates increase, it does increase the borrowing costs for the banks. But the existing customers would be paying more if they have any of the portion of their lending on floating rates. People who have been building their houses, they would be effectively they would effectively end up paying a little bit more than what they have been paying in the past. And people who are looking to borrow, there will be stricter criteria applied by the banks as we go on further.
Mm-hmm. And now that these rates have gone up, what should people expect in the coming months? In terms of bank loans, interest rates, like you mentioned, the interest rates have already gone up. So what else should people expect?
I think we've been used over the last 3 to 4 to the rates dropping. I think we are seeing. I think we have seen the bottom of the rates. I think the rates have started to go up. So I think in terms of borrowers who've already got a mortgage, they would be looking at higher rates when the rates come up for refixing or reviews. For the existing customers, again, it's a sad case because, as I said, the rates have gone up from what they were in the early twos a couple of months ago. And the banks have become tighter in terms of the criteria for lending out. So I guess by the time we are in the middle of next year, we could be looking at somewhere around mid fours to high fours to even 5%. That would put on a standard mortgage of, I don't know, $600,000 or $700,000 these days, you're looking at almost a $50 per week kind of an increase in the repayments.
Okay, and then one last question, moving towards your expertise. So, how should first home buyers? Let's talk about them. How should first home buyers prepare themselves if they want to get onto the housing ladder and want to get to buy their own first home?
I think the main thing is to get in touch with us, and so we can have a look at them, look at their financial position at this stage, and see whether they do qualify or not. And if not, we can guide them in the path of what they need to do when it comes to savings, and what would they need to do in terms of what the banks require in terms of documentations, whether it's the deposits or the salaries or whether they qualify or not. Interest rate rises are something that is governed by the Reserve Bank. They are on their way up. So if there's anyone that out there who's looking to buy and has got any queries about, how to start the process or what do they need to, I guess, look for in terms of what interest rates would they be getting, get in touch with us. We're based in Blockhouse Bay in Auckland, but we can always do it over Zoom or given that we're in level 3, so we can always catch up on a Zoom meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Pratik. Thank you so much for that snappy, very late description of the OCR and what's happening right now. I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us on Indian Weekender at 5.
Thanks for having me.